All right, so get this. So we're diving into a question that's like as old as humanity itself. Can we actually live forever? We've got Michio Kaku's The Future of Humanity, laying out some seriously wild possibilities. And then on the other side, we've got Bryan Johnson's Blueprint Project, and this guy's basically trying to biohack his way to immortality.
Yeah.
It's
fascinating combo.
A fascinating combo, right? It's like we're looking at the theoretical limits of humanity, and then someone out there actually trying to push those limits.
Yeah, in real time.
In real time.
It's amazing.
So, okay, let's just start with something that I think feels almost superhuman to a lot of people.
Okay.
Wim Hof, the Iceman.
Oh, yeah.
This guy can sit in ice for hours, control his breathing to actually influence his nervous system.
It's mind-boggling.
It's mind-boggling. What's the science behind that?
Well, I think Wim Hof's feats, they really highlight this kind of untapped potential that we have in our bodies and our minds.
Yeah.
His ability to withstand extreme cold, it comes from a combination of factors, really, specialized breathing techniques, cold exposure training, and also a lot of mental focus.
Right.
And what's really remarkable is that recent studies suggest that these practices can actually impact the inflammatory response and even boost the immune system.
So it's not just like a circus act.
Exactly.
There's real science backing this up.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, what else are we capable of if we could just tap into that level of control?
Yeah. It's a fascinating question.
Yeah.
If you think about ultra-endurance athletes, right, the ones that run these ultra-marathons swim across oceans. I mean, they're pushing their bodies to the absolute limit.
Right.
And it just demonstrates these remarkable physiological adaptations.
It's almost like they're real-life versions of those Martian mountain climbers that Kaku talks about in his book.
Exactly.
The ones who can climb these crazy heights because they're not weighed down by Earth's gravity.
Precisely. And, years of training combined with specific genetic predispositions allow these athletes to really achieve levels of endurance that most people can only dream of.
Yeah.
They're pushing the boundaries of what we thought was humanly possible.
Okay, so we've got these incredible examples of human potential.
Right.
But what about actually extending lifespan? That's where Bryan Johnson comes in. Yeah. With his Blueprint Project, right?
Exactly. Johnson's a tech entrepreneur who's taken this very data-driven approach to reversing his biological age.
Oh.
And his daily routine, which he calls the Blueprint, involves meticulous diet, intense exercise, a vast array of supplements, and constant monitoring of all these biomarkers.
I read that he eats over 60 pounds of veggies, berries, and nuts every month.
That's a lot of food.
Plus a 30-pill supplement routine.
It's intense.
What's the thinking behind such a rigorous approach?
Well, Johnson's goal is to optimize every single aspect of his health, to slow down or even reverse the aging process. His diet is carefully calibrated to provide very specific nutrients and antioxidants. And while the supplement stack might seem extreme, many of the ingredients like acarbose and trehalose are actually being studied for their potential effects on lifespan.
Acarbose, trehalose? Those aren't exactly household names.
No, they're not.
What's the deal with those?
So acarbose is typically used to manage blood sugar levels, and it's thought to potentially influence lifespan by slowing down the digestion of carbohydrates, kind of mimicking some of the effects of calorie restriction.
Okay.
And trehalose is a type of sugar found in some plants and insects, and it's being studied for its potential protective effects on cells.
Interesting. So he's really targeting those cellular processes directly.
Yes, he is.
And I know he's also really big on exercise and tracking his heart rate.
Right.
What's the significance of that?
Well, Johnson's fitness regimen is designed to improve cardiovascular health and increase his maximum heart rate. So he's essentially trying to keep his body functioning as efficiently as possible, much like a well-maintained machine.
Okay, but is all this just extreme biohacking?
Yeah.
Or is there actual science behind his approach?
There is a scientific basis for several aspects of his blueprint.
Okay.
For example, he's trying to influence his telomeres.
Oh, yeah?
Those are the protective caps on the ends of chromosomes, and they shorten as we age.
Right, like the plastic tips on shoelaces.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've heard about those.
And there's research suggesting that certain lifestyle factors like calorie restriction and exercise can help preserve telomere length, which is associated with a longer lifespan.
So he's not just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks.
No.
He's actually targeting specific mechanisms related to aging.
Precisely whether his approach will ultimately achieve his goal of reversing his biological age remains to be seen, but he's certainly pushing the boundaries of what's possible with these personalized health interventions.
It's definitely a bold experiment. But let's shift gears for a second and talk about the idea of cellular immortality.
Okay.
Is that even scientifically possible?
It's a captivating concept. We know that some cells, like cancer cells, have the ability to divide indefinitely.
Right.
And if we could understand and harness that mechanism in healthy cells, it could revolutionize our understanding of aging and disease.
So are we talking about creating a world where people can live forever?
It's not that simple.
Okay.
While some cells exhibit immortality, normal human cells have a limit on how many times they can divide. This is known as the Hayflick limit, and this limit is a safeguard against uncontrolled cell growth, which is essentially what cancer is.
So it's like a built-in safety mechanism.
Exactly, and overcoming this limit without triggering negative consequences is a major scientific challenge.
Right.
However, there's a growing field of research focused on regenerative medicine, which aims to harness the power of cells that can repair and regenerate tissues.
Okay, so maybe immortality is still a ways off.
Right.
But regenerative medicine sounds promising. Are there any examples of that happening already?
There are some fascinating developments in regenerative medicine. For example, scientists are exploring the use of stem cells to repair damaged heart tissue after a heart attack.
Wow.
And there's ongoing research into using engineered tissues to replace damaged organs, potentially eliminating the need for organ transplants.
That's incredible. It sounds like we're on the verge of some major breakthroughs in this field.
I think so.
But back to the idea of living forever, even if we could overcome the biological limits of aging,
Yeah.
wouldn't that create a whole host of societal challenges?
You're absolutely right. The implications of vastly extended lifespans are profound.
Right.
We'd have to rethink everything from our social structures to our economic systems.
Like what happens to retirement if people are living for centuries?
Exactly.
Would we need to completely redefine the concept of a career?
I think so. And what about population growth?
Right.
If people are living much longer, wouldn't that put an even greater strain on our planet's resources? And Kaku actually addresses these concerns in The Future of Humanity. He suggests that becoming a multi-planet species might be the key to long-term sustainability.
Wow. So we're talking about a potential future where humans are colonizing other planets
Yeah.
because we've outgrown Earth. That's straight out of science fiction.
It might sound far-fetched,
Yeah.
but it's a scenario that futurists and scientists are seriously considering.
Wow. Okay, let's say we figure out the practical issues. What about the philosophical and ethical implications?
Yeah.
Would life lose its meaning if death were no longer inevitable?
That's a question that has puzzled philosophers for ages.
Right.
Some argue that our mortality gives life meaning by making our time precious. Others believe that a longer lifespan would allow us to pursue our goals and passions with more depth and purpose.
It's a fascinating debate. I guess it comes down to how we choose to live our lives, whether we have decades or centuries ahead of us.
I think that's an important point. The quest for immortality isn't just about extending lifespan, it's about how we choose to spend that time. Will we use it for personal growth and fulfillment, or will we simply perpetuate the same patterns of behavior that lead to conflict and suffering?
It's a reminder that technology can only take us so far.
Right.
Ultimately, the future of humanity depends on our choices and actions.
And our values, if we want to create a future where longevity benefits all of humanity, we need to prioritize things like compassion, cooperation, and sustainability.
Okay, let's go back to those societal challenges for a moment.
Yeah.
I'm imagining a world where only the wealthy have access to life-extending technologies.
Uh-oh.
That sounds like a recipe for social unrest.
It's a valid concern. Unequal access to life-extending treatments could exacerbate existing inequalities and create a two-tiered society where the wealthy live indefinitely,
Right.
while the rest of us face our traditional lifespans. And, we need to ensure that any advances in longevity are accessible to everyone, not just a privileged few.
So it's not just about the science, it's about social justice and equity as well.
Precisely, we need to approach these advancements with a sense of responsibility and ensure they benefit all of humanity, not just a select group.
Thinking about the potential for inequality brings up another question.
Okay.
How would longer lifespans impact things like family dynamics and relationships?
Yeah.
Would marriages last for centuries?
Wow.
Would we see multi-generational households become the norm?
It's intriguing to consider how our social structures might adapt to such drastic changes in lifespan.
Right.
We might see a shift away from traditional nuclear families towards more fluid and extended kinship networks. Perhaps relationships would become less defined by legal contracts and more by shared values and experiences.
I can see how longer lifespans could lead to deeper and more complex relationships. Imagine the wisdom and perspective you could gain from knowing your great-great-grandparents.
Exactly. But it also raises questions about how we would navigate intergenerational conflicts and power dynamics.
It's like we're stepping into uncharted territory. The possibilities are both exciting and a bit daunting.
I think that's a healthy perspective. To have the quest for immortality is a journey into the unknown, and it's essential to approach it with both curiosity and caution.
So where do we go from here? What are the next steps in this quest for longer, healthier lives?
There are multiple avenues of research and development being pursued simultaneously in the realm of biohacking. We see individuals like Bryan Johnson pushing the boundaries of personalized health interventions on the scientific front. Researchers are making strides in understanding the genetic and cellular processes that drive aging.
And we can't forget about the potential of regenerative medicine to repair and regenerate damaged tissues and organs.
Exactly. It's a multifaceted approach combining cutting-edge technology with a deeper understanding of the human body. The key is to ensure that these advancements are developed and deployed ethically and responsibly with the well-being of all humanity in mind.
This has been a mind-blowing journey into the science, ethics, and dreams of living forever. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the incredible feats of real-life superhumans to the mind-bending possibilities of cellular immortality and the profound societal implications of vastly extended lifespans. But we're not quite done yet. There's still so much more to explore.
Yeah, there is a lot more to explore.
It feels like we've only just scratched the surface
Yeah.
of this whole immortality thing.
Yeah,
There's just so much to consider.
it is.
From the science to the ethics to like the sheer mind-boggling scale of it all.
Right.
We've talked a lot about the potential downsides of living longer. Overpopulation, inequality,
Yeah.
maybe even existential boredom.
Right.
But what about the potential upsides?
Yeah.
What could a future with extended lifespans look like if we actually managed to handle it wisely?
That's the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wisely managing these advancements is crucial. But imagine a world where people have centuries to learn to grow, to experience different cultures and pursue their passions. I mean, the potential for human flourishing is immense.
I like the way you put that, human flourishing.
Yeah.
It's not just about living longer, it's about living better.
Exactly. Imagine having the time to truly master a craft, to dedicate yourself to scientific discovery, or to explore the world and all its wonders without the pressure of a ticking clock.
I can already feel my to-do list expanding.
Yeah.
But seriously, think about the impact on scientific progress alone. If researchers had centuries to work on problems, we might see breakthroughs we can't even fathom right now.
Absolutely. Imagine a world where Einstein or Marie Curie could have continued their work for decades or even centuries longer. The advancements could be staggering.
And it's not just about individual achievements. Think about the potential for collaboration and knowledge sharing. Across generations, we could build upon the wisdom of our ancestors in ways we can barely conceive of today.
It's a compelling vision, isn't it? A future where humanity is not constantly reinventing the wheel, but rather building upon this vast and ever-growing foundation of knowledge and experience.
Okay, I'm getting a little carried away here, back to reality. We're still a long way from achieving immortality.
Right.
But even if we never actually conquer death, this whole quest is pushing us to think differently about life, about aging, about what's truly important.
You've hit on something crucial. The quest for immortality, even if ultimately unattainable, is forcing us to reevaluate our priorities and consider what kind of future we want to create.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm left with a sense of wonder and a healthy dose of responsibility. We're on the edge of something truly extraordinary. But it's up to us to ensure these advancements benefit all of humanity, not just a select few.
Well said. The future of longevity is not predetermined. It's a future we're actively shaping through our choices, our research, and our ethical considerations.
To our listeners, we leave you with this: the quest for a longer life is ultimately a quest for a better life, a life filled with purpose, connection, and the pursuit of knowledge and understanding. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Until next time, may your deep dives be filled with wonder and insight.